August the 4th, about 7 o'clock, Clyburn, Texas. Just got backed up to the dock. Gave me trouble though, man. The lock on the trailer, I couldn't get the seal off the trailer. It was it's kind of hard to get off. I had to walk up to the office and get a bolt cutter for this seal. I didn't have wire snips to cut it off. But that's not why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to make this video to show off my new Tuskegee Airmen Fighters of Freedom t-shirt. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's a nice looking t-shirt. The history of the Tuskegee Airmen is very, very legendary. These guys were on the cutting edge of breaking the race barrier for pilots. They were the first black pilots to ever fly in the military and in America, period. They were the trailblazers for all the other airmen to follow behind their legacy. They endured hostility, indifference, ridicule, being looked at as inferior and not equal to their contemporaries in the military. They were considered incapable of handling the pressure of fighting the German Air Force, and it's heavily doubted that they would be effective in any missions carried out by their all-black fighter group. There's a movie, Red Tails, that details the sort of narrative of the Tuskegee Airmen. Also, there's the movie that came out before that was Lawrence Fishburne was the Tuskegee Airmen. Those are not autobiographical, but they are, in a way, somewhat accurate depiction of that time and the environment for the pilots. They had to they were never allowed in any of the military lounges on any base. They were never, the captains and the officers, they were not allowed in the officers clubs, even though they were putting their life on the line for their country. They were still relegated to the status of Jim Crow. The Jim Crow laws were always in effect for black people in the military. They were never able to outrank a white military man. They were never given any duties over any white men. They were never even they weren't even really recognized for their bravery at the time during the war and their acts of heroics. The United States didn't grant any Silver Hearts or any Golden Stars, any Purple Hearts to their group until later, like decades after the war. But the Italians and the Europeans, they gave them distinguished medals of honor for their acts of courage and valor, and willing to fight for freedom abroad, even though they weren't free at home, which is really, really heartbreaking when you think about it. You you go overseas and you get treated better than you do in your home country. You know, a lot of the Tuskegee Airmen, well, a lot of black soldiers in general in the wars, World War I and II. World War II was when the Tuskegee Airmen was instituted, but they always said that they were treated better in Italy and in other countries than they were at home. They weren't looked at as they weren't regarded with hostility. They were they were embraced with open arms. And just want to give a shout out to all the brave men and women who served in the military, who answered the call for freedom and, you know, bared the sacrifice that, you know, freedom costs. You know, freedom isn't free. Somebody's got to be willing to fight for freedom, and that's why I'm representing the Tuskegee Airmen, the 332nd Fighter Squadron, and the 99th Brigade, or 99th, I think it was the 99th Group, Fighter Group 2. Shout out to Tuskegee Airmen. Long live your legacy.